Turn 4. This is going to be a crucial turn. There's a lot that's going to happen, and it's very much down to who gets the initiative dice first. So there's pike blocks that can hit knights, knights that can move across and hit the chariot, and the elephant's gonna try and charge forward and hit the knights, companion knights, before they can move. The artillery is going to try and shoot over here. If the Indians get the first dice, they'll probably try and turn the flank of the red flag blue pike block. If the Macedonians get the first the dice, they will try and annihilate most of this Indian infantry, as will not be able to stand up to what's going to come in at them. And over here there's flanking possibility on the Indian javelin, and skirmishers could also move across and support the cavalry, but it's decisions all over the place as to what they're going to do. So first thing we'll do is we'll get the bag, we'll reach in, we'll pull out a dice, and it's Alexandrians. Let's go over there and see what they can achieve. Right, we're going to take a bit of a gamble here with the Alexandrian dice. Yes, I could activate the pike block and it can smash the Indian bow, and then it's the red flag blue pike block won't get ganged up on two flanks. However, they can probably take a bit of abuse, the gamble. However, over here, if the next dice is Indian and Poros charges in, the companions are going to be flanked on both sides and destroyed. However, if I give the pike block the action dice, they can slide across because they have corner to corner contact. They can slide across, and it's a pike block versus knights, and they'll be supported by the companions. So that's what we'll do. And we'll fight there. So now we'll just get a blue dice from the bag and give that to the companions, because they're now classed as having they're supporting the pike block going in. This is going to be quite a formidable attack on that elephant, on that knight, chariot knight. Even though it's blessed, it's going to need every blessing that's required. Now the matchup goes like this. Knights are 3 versus foot, but it's a first round, so they have impact. The pike block is 5 versus mounted, plus it has a support from the cavalry, so that's 6 dice plays 3. Now let's roll. Let's do the Indians first and see what they can achieve with their 3 dice. Not good at all. No 6s, no impact. They're going to get smashed to pieces, I think. So now let's get the 6 dice from the pike block. And yes, this absolutely smashed them to pieces. So we've got 2 6s. Sorry, I turned one over. Got 2 6s, 2 5s, and a 2 and a 1. So that's 12, 22, 24, 25 points of damage. So let's apply that to the units and see what that does. However, before we apply the damage to the units, the Alexandrian player will play Whim of the Gods. The gods decide to even the battle on a whim. The player with the highest death dice value gains 2 melee dice, use anywhere. In this instance, we know that the Indian players had lost an elephant but recovered it back through use of a god card. Therefore, the Alexandrian player has the most death dice. Therefore, I'm going to play that card and gain 2 more dice, which we're going to use. Alexandrian is going to use right now. And he's rolled a 6 and a 3, which is another 9 points of damage. So now let's go and apply all that damage to those poor blessed chariots. So the red pipe block took 7 points of damage. It went from 28 to 21. However, the chariot knights 1 blessed went from 27 points to -7. So they've been obliterated. Being blessed was not going to help them at all. They're never going to get they're -7, so they're never going to get anything near that on a d6. So they've been destroyed. Let's take the damaged chariot, which is here, and place it as a dead. Take its dice, and the cost of a knight is 4 points, so the dice gets placed there with 4 points, and we'll now move on to the next turn. Right, the next one is going to be crucial. Let's see who gets destiny on their side. Alexandrians. Let's go, and well, the choice is fairly obvious. They can either shoot the artillery there or go to town on the Indian infantry, and I think it's quite obviously going to be that. So let's apply the dice and take it the next step. Right, well, the pike block intentions are very plain. They're just going to all activate and smash in. None of the pike block is at 50%, so they'll stay on full dice for melee. The Indians are also going to be fighting in the melee. However, they're not going to have this javelin unit as support, so when the dice comes out, they can turn and try and hit the flank of the pike block. So they'll forego the 1 dice, which I don't think is going to make much odds for these poor bow unit, because they're like on 1 or 2 points. So let's now allocate the dice and start the rolling. Okay, bow get 1 versus foot, no support, and the pike block gets 4 versus foot. So let's do the Indian. 1 dice. They've rolled 5 points. That's not bad at all. Dying moments. And the pike block has done very well. Doesn't need to do that much. Scored 14 points. So now let's apply that damage. Okay, the Indian bow go to -12 and quite clearly decimated. However, the red flag blue pike block has gone to 12 points. But we know that it's a blessed unit, and its 12 points is clearly less than 50%, but being blessed, it will get d6 back immediately. 1. Pathetic, but there you go, it gets 1 back. So that goes to 13. So we remove the Indian unit that just got wiped out. Put it there with the other deadies. And a bow unit costs 3 points. So we put his dice to 3. So far the break factor is 4, 3, 7 points for the Indians. And for the Macedonians it is 9 points. The blue pike block, having 1, now gets its recovery of cohesion. So that's its total hit points -3. So in this instance, its damage of 28, it's a cohesion of 28, -3 is 25. So it'll recover all the way back to 25. So I'll just make that change. So that pike block will now carry on with a cohesion level of 25, reduced by 3. Moving on to the next unit, again the pike block has got 4, but it now gets a +1 support from this unit, which is now not engaged in combat. Against the Indians, 1 dice. It's going to be fairly obvious what's going to happen, so let's just roll these 5 dice first and see what happens. So there's 10, 16, 19 points worth of damage against the Indians. 1 dice, which does 5 points of damage. Let's apply that and the results, and let's see where we are. Guess what? The Indians are dead. Both the pike blocks who were going to carry on supporting have gone to 3s, because we know what's going to happen again. They're going to get 4 dice. They're going to get 1 from the support, and the Indians' bow are going to get 1 dice to fight. But the results from the previous one was -10 for the bow and very little damage to the green pike. They just went straight to 16. But now they'll make a recovery roll, having won that. Oh, not bad at all, -2. So they'll go 28 -2 to 26 as their recovery. So now let's do this battle, this little melee. So we've got 10 points, so 6 and 2, so 16 points, and the Indians retaliate with 6. Apply that damage, let's see what happens. Well, those Indians died. What a shame, what a surprise. And because this pike block is going to support in melee, we'll put that to a 3, if you can find a 3. And the result was -1 for the orange Indian bow, decimated. However, the green pike are at 21. So let's roll to see. 26. They went to 20, but I didn't write that down. They've gone to 20, but they're going to recover anyway. So let's see what their recovery dice is going to be. 1. So that's a fantastic recovery. So they're going to go to 27 from 28. Let's apply that and get on. Now the last unit in this melee is a horde unit, which gets 2 dice versus foot, and the pike block gets its 4 versus foot plus 1 from the support. So let's give the Indians a whirl first with their 2 dice. They've done 6 points on the green pike block, and the pike block will do a devastating amount of damage, seeing as the horde have only got 6 points left. So we know they're going to get wiped out. It's not even worth calculating that up. And the horde are worth 1 point. So we'll take the horde away. And we'll take their dice of 1 point and put that down there. And we'll do a recovery roll for the pike. And they're doing well. So they go from 28 points starting to 27. So let's apply that. And then we're ready to pull from the bag again. Let's now reach into the bag and see if we can get some Indians some help. Yes. Okay, well there's nothing left there. The elephant's not going to charge in at the moment. The pike block's done all its move. So we can take our time. Let's go for somewhere more crucial. So if we go here, we can do a bit of a nifty little move where this block can charge the artillery. The elephant can go in support to the artillery, to the cavalry in this melee. However, the good thing is when the general gets his dice and chance to charge in. This blue elephant will provide an overlap here and here. So now we can do this fight. Give them the 1, pull another dice out, give that a 1, pull a blue dice out, give that a 1. Now let's apply the dice. Right. So the artillery gets 1 dice for melee. The cavalry get 2 dice versus foot, plus the elephant providing 1 support. So let's do the damage on the cavalry. They take 1 point of damage, and the Indians will inflict on the artillery. Rather pathetic actually, because they should have taken out that artillery. It's only got 10 cohesion points, but then he managed to do 7. So let's apply that and move on. Right, back to the bag. And let's see whose turn it is. Alexandrians. Let's put that down. Let's have a little think about what we can do with them. Right. Well, the Alexandrians can't do anything there. Everything's actioned. And over here the pike block's done all its actions, so we're at this area. So let's just give this to the pike block and let them do what they are good at. Let's apply the dice. So there we go. The pike block gets its 4 and 1 for the support, and the medium infantry get 2 dice. So let's roll that and see what we get. Well, there was the results. The medium infantry got 6 maximum, and the pike block didn't do particularly well, but still managed to get 13. Let's apply that damage. Unsurprisingly, the medium infantry from the Indians died and went to -3, so it's gone. And the pike, hardly any damage, recovered. Is going to recover its damage, its cohesion, and it's going to, however, go 28 -4 to 24 as a permanent. Right, let's go back to the bag and see what we can actually get. Alexandrians. And considering how many Indian units have moved, we're back to Alexandrians. So again, we're going to go back over there, and what we'll do is we'll move this skirmisher unit to there as a support for when the combat begins. So we're going to put a 3 there because it's going to be a support, and that's the move for them. So now let's rattle the old bag and pull out another Alexandrian one. So now let's just do that fight. So let's apply the dice. The inferior cavalry get 2 dice. They would have normally got 3, but they're inferior, so they go to 2. And the light horse get 2 dice plus 1 for support. Let's now roll these dice and see what we get. Alexandrians, not bad score at all. Not bad score at all. 13. And the Indian cavalry, not bad, 9. Let's apply those results. All right. The Indian cavalry drops to 7, and the light horse dropped to 6. So it's a close run thing. However, the Indian cavalry is cursed. It's not having a good time, which means it's going to take an additional 6 points, which knocks it down to 1. Still hanging in there. Still hanging in there. Okay, the Indians could do with some luck. However, there is still 1 Alexandrian dice in there. Let's see what comes out. Ah, it's an Indian dice. So, I know where that's going to go immediately, and that is going to be the generals time to charge in. Now the companions get 4 dice as knights versus mounted, and they get 1 support from a pike block. The elephant gets 4 dice against mounted, and then it gets 1 more for being a general, and then it gets 1 more for support, plus it has impact. So let's roll the Macedonians first, and they've rolled very well. They've got 10, 16, 18, 21. And the elephant doesn't do very well at all. This gets 6, 10, 15, 21. Not a single 6, which you really could have done with, which would have given it some impact. So now let's apply that damage. Right. The results are the companions took 25 hits. They started with 26, so they're still there, just about with 1 point left. Poros started with 30, took a massive hit of 21, leaves him with 9. So the battle continues with them. Let's pick another dice. Right, let's go back to the bag, and we'll pull out an Indian dice. Let's have a little think about what we can do with that. In fact, there's very few units left, just this one, but let's decide. Okay, decision made. Let's give it to this unit here and move it in preparation to there. Not contact, but it's going to be support. For the moment, it's a move to there. Or actually, it should be to there. Pike block extends beyond the 40 by 40 squares. Just go back in here, pull out another dice, and it's the Indian dice. So this is where the knights turn for 1 and then charge in to the flank of that. So now this dice here is going to truly become a support dice. So now let's work out what's happened here, which is not good news for this pike block. Okay. So what happens here is the pike block has been hit in the side, and its combat dice versus mounted is 5. However, hit in the side, you drop by 50%, so you're now 2 dice, and you round down, so 2.5 becomes 2 dice. The knights are, or the chariot knights are 3 dice against foot, and they get 1 dice for the support from the infantry to their right, but having hit the pike block in the flank, they get an additional dice as a bonus for hitting into the flank. So now let's roll those dice. So the pike now will inflict 5 points of damage to the chariots. Right, the Indian roll is not too bad, not great. However, they did manage to get a 6. They have impact this turn, so they're going to get another 2 dice, which we'll now do. And that's not bad, they rolled 10. Let's total up this dice and apply the damage. Right. The knight chariot took 5 points of damage, so it goes to 23. However, the pike are at -3, having taken an extraordinary amount of damage. But they are blessed, so they will get D6 back for dropping below 50%. So this could save their bacon or not. 1. So they get 1 point back which won't save their bacon, so they die. I'll apply the damages and we'll have a look. So the end result so far is the break factor for the Indians is 17. They break on 22, so they're not that far away from breaking. Alexandrians are on 13 and they also break on 22, so it's still fairly close. So we'll now go back to the bag and select again. Right, this elephant is in a bit of a precarious situation with all of its supports in front gone. The Indian army is on 17 break points. Death of an elephant is 6 points, which will take it to 23, which is past its break factor of 22. So what we need to do is beat a hasty retreat from these so we don't lose the battle, and try and win the battle there and turn the tide. Although it's not looking good for the Indians with such an accumulation of damage. So what we do with the elephant is we turn it 90 degrees. That's all it can do. It can either turn or move. It can do a diagonal shift, but it's not going to do a diagonal shift. It's going to turn and hopefully move three next turn 3 boxes in this direction. It won't get contacted by this pike block advancing because it is now pinned by the cavalry, who have got 2 points to pin 2 boxes. Now you can either move towards the knights, chariot knights, or away from them, so they're pinned, so they'll be quite safe. The elephant get to there. However, they do need to move first, because if the pike block next turn moves first, it'll just advance 2 steps and smash the crap out of the elephant, and it's game over for the Indian army. So the next is all a gamble for the next turn. So that's that. Turn ended. So it's the end of turn 4.